Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be tackling a topic that's, well, pretty popular these days. It's manifestation.
Manifestation, yeah.
Yeah. We found this video that's supposed to be like a beginner-friendly explanation. I'm honestly kind of curious to see how they handle it, you know? I mean, it's got this reputation for being kind of wee-woo.
Right.
But at the same time, there's a lot of people who swear by it. So we'll see if this video can walk that line between, like, intriguing concept and, well,
Yeah, the full-on.
full-on woo.
Woo-woo, yeah.
Exactly. And the video even claims that there's some actual science behind it. So that's what we're here to figure out, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm really interested in. Like, is there something more to it than just, wishful thinking? Is it this co-creation with the universe thing that they talk about?
Yeah. Good point. But before we even get into all the steps and techniques and stuff, we should probably start with the basics.
Totally.
Like, what exactly are we talking about when we say manifestation? According to the video, that is...
So, at its core, manifestation is the idea that we can bring our thoughts and desires into reality. It's about aligning, like, our thoughts and our emotions and even our actions
Okay.
with our goals.
So it's not just, like, sitting around wishing for things.
Oh, no.
There's more to it.
Definitely. It's more like you're setting an intention.
Right.
And then you're, like, actively participating in making it happen.
Okay, that makes sense. But, and here's where I always get a little skeptical. Is there really any science to back this up? I mean, positive thinking, sure, that's great and all.
Right.
But can it actually make things happen in the real world?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Right.
And to be honest, that's where things get a little murky.
Yeah.
The video talks about this thing called the law of attraction.
Okay.
The whole, like, attracts, like, idea.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
Basically, it says that positive thoughts bring positive experiences and negative thoughts bring, well, negative ones.
Makes sense in theory.
It does, but in terms of hard scientific evidence, it's not really there.
So, maybe not a scientific formula, but are there any underlying principles we might be missing?
Possibly. The video also briefly mentions quantum physics.
Oh, there it is. Quantum physics always seems to come up in these conversations.
Right. And some interpretations of quantum mechanics do suggest that consciousness plays a role in shaping reality.
Okay.
But it's important to remember that those are very specific interpretations.
Right.
And they're not exactly widely accepted in the scientific community.
So let's not oversimplify things, I guess.
Yeah, quantum physics is fascinating.
Totally.
But it's probably not the answer to how manifestation works.
Right. Fair enough. So putting aside the more esoteric interpretations, what does this video say about, like, the practical framework for manifestation?
Okay, so they lay out a 5-step process.
5 steps. All right, I can handle that.
Yeah, it's clarity, belief, visualization, alignment, and letting go.
Okay, 5 steps. Let's break those down. First step, clarity.
Right. Clarity means being super clear about what you want to manifest.
Okay.
It's not just a vague desire, You need to define your goal, and you need to be as specific as possible.
Got it.
It's kind of like setting a destination in your GPS.
Okay.
Without a clear target, you're just going to end up driving in circles, right?
So I can't just say, I want to be rich.
Well,
I got to be more specific.
exactly. How much money? By when? What will you do with that wealth?
Okay. The details matter.
They do. The clearer your vision, the better your chances of attracting the right opportunities. This is actually backed by, psychology research on goal setting.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Specific, measurable goals are way more likely to be achieved than vague aspirations.
That makes sense. Okay, so clarity, check. What's next?
Belief. This one is huge.
Okay.
You have to truly believe that what you want is possible.
Mm.
Any doubt or negativity can really sabotage the whole thing.
That's tough, though. It's easy to let doubts creep in, especially if you've had setbacks in the past.
Yeah, it's a challenge for sure. And this is where the co-creation idea comes in.
Okay.
You're not just passively believing, you're actively working on that belief.
So affirmations, positive self-talk, surrounding yourself with supportive people.
Exactly. It's all about shifting that mindset from I can't to I can. Even if it takes time,
It's a process. Okay, so we've got clarity and belief. What's next on the list?
Visualization. This is where you really let your imagination run wild.
All right, let's get creative.
The video emphasizes really vividly imagining yourself already having what you want, engaging all your senses, like what do you see, what do you hear, feel,
Okay.
even smell and taste, if that applies. The more real you can make it in your mind,
I see.
the more powerful that visualization becomes.
It's funny, I've actually heard about visualization techniques being used in sports psychology.
Oh, absolutely.
Like athletes use it to improve their performance.
Yeah, they mentally rehearse their actions.
Exactly. So is there a similar principle at work here with manifestation?
I think so. Visualization taps into the power of the subconscious mind. So when you repeatedly imagine a certain outcome, you start to internalize it as a possibility,
Hmm.
which then makes it more likely to manifest in your reality.
So it's like we're programming our minds to believe it's achievable, which then influences our actions and choices. Okay, this is starting to make more sense. What's the next step?
Alignment. This is where the rubber meets the road.
Okay.
You have to take concrete actions that actually move you closer to your goal. It's not enough to just visualize. You got to walk the walk.
So no more just sitting back and wishing for things.
Right.
You got to take action.
Exactly. And the interesting thing is taking action actually strengthens your belief.
Oh, how so?
Every step you take towards your goal, even if it's small, it reinforces your conviction that it's possible. It creates this positive feedback loop.
I like that. Okay, so we've got clarity, belief, visualization, alignment. What's the last one?
Letting go.
Letting go. That seems kind of counterintuitive.
I know, right? But it's all about trusting the process and releasing that tight grip on the outcome.
Yeah, okay.
When we obsess over the when and the how, we can actually create resistance and block the flow.
So instead of micromanaging every little detail, we should just surrender to the bigger picture, trust that things will work out.
Exactly. It's about maintaining that faith in the process and detaching from the need to control everything.
That's a good point. It definitely takes a certain level of trust, especially in a culture where we value control and predictability.
Oh, absolutely. It's a real shift in mindset.
It is. Okay, so we've covered all 5 steps: clarity, belief, visualization, alignment, and letting go. What are your initial thoughts on all of this?
You know, what stands out to me is how this framework brings together both internal and external elements. You're not just changing your thoughts, you're taking real tangible actions.
That's true.
It's this synergy between mind and action that I find really compelling.
I totally agree. It's about aligning our inner world with our outer world.
Yeah.
But let's be real, it's not always going to be smooth sailing. Right?
Definitely not. There are bound to be some bumps in the road.
Right. And that's where understanding those common mistakes comes in.
Absolutely. Knowing the pitfalls can help us navigate the path to manifestation more effectively.
Exactly. So let's explore those, starting the first one that the video mentioned, impatience.
Ah, impatience. The classic pitfall, especially in our instant gratification society.
Oh, yeah.
We want everything to happen overnight.
Right.
But manifestation takes time. It's a gradual unfolding, not a magic spell.
Patience is key.
It really is. It's like expecting a seed to instantly bloom into a flower, you know?
Right.
You need to give it time to germinate and grow.
That's a good analogy. Okay, what's next?
Lack of belief. This one's a biggie.
Right.
Because if deep down you don't believe it's possible, well, it probably won't be.
Yeah, our beliefs really do shape our reality.
They do. And this is where self-awareness is so crucial. We need to identify those limiting beliefs that might be holding us back.
So we got to challenge those negative thoughts and replace them with something more empowering.
Exactly. And remind yourself of times when you have succeeded.
Okay, so it's about rewiring our thinking, building that foundation of belief. Makes sense. What's next?
Negative thinking, you know, those thoughts that just drain your energy and block all the good stuff.
Oh, I know those thoughts all too well.
Right. They're like energy vampires sucking the life out of our dreams.
So how do we fight back against them?
Well, mindfulness practices like meditation can be really helpful.
Okay.
It's all about becoming aware of those negative thoughts as they pop up
Right.
and then gently redirecting your focus to something positive.
So it's not about suppressing those thoughts. It's about learning to observe them without judgment and choosing to focus on something better, something that lifts us up.
Precisely. It's about taking control of that inner dialogue.
Okay, that makes sense.
Uh,
So we've got impatience, lack of belief, and negative thinking. What's the final mistake?
Inaction. This one goes hand in hand with alignment.
Right, because you can visualize all day long.
You can.
But if you don't take any action, nothing's going to change.
Exactly. It's like daydreaming without actually doing anything to make those dreams a reality.
It's like having a brilliant business idea,
Yes,
but never taking the steps to start that business.
you got it. It's about bridging that gap between thought and action. Action is what makes it all happen.
I love that. Okay, so we've covered those 4 common pitfalls: impatience, lack of belief, negative thinking, and inaction. Now let's flip the script and talk about those practical tips that can really boost our manifestation game.
Yes, let's dive into some actionable strategies.
The video mentioned a few, starting with daily affirmations.
Affirmations are a great place to start.
Okay, affirmations. I've heard about those, but honestly, I'm not sure I've ever done them right. Is it as simple as just repeating positive statements?
It's more than just saying the words. You have to actually feel them,
Yeah.
embody the energy of what you're affirming, and truly believe in their power.
Hmm.
Think of it like planting seeds in your subconscious mind.
Okay.
By consistently repeating these positive statements, you're nurturing those seeds, helping them grow into powerful beliefs.
So it's a conscious effort to choose thoughts that support our goals, rather than just letting those negative, self-sabotaging thoughts run the show.
Exactly. You're taking control of your thought patterns.
Okay, I like that. What's the next tip?
Gratitude practice. This one's all about appreciating what you already have.
Ah, gratitude. I love that one. It's so easy to get caught up in what we're lacking that we forget to appreciate all the good things we already have.
That's so true. And gratitude is like this magnet for abundance.
Explain that.
When we focus on what we're grateful for, we shift our perspective from lack to abundance, and that attracts even more good things into our lives.
So instead of focusing on what's missing, we're choosing to appreciate what we have. And that positive energy then attracts more positivity. I like that. What's next?
Vision boards. This is a fun one. Oh, vision boards. I love making vision boards. It's like a visual representation of our dreams, all laid out in front of us.
Exactly. They're powerful anchors for our intentions. When you put them somewhere you see them every day, it keeps your desires top of mind,
Right. They're a constant reminder of what we're working towards.
keeping us focused and motivated.
Love it. Okay, what about the more introspective stuff?
Well, the video also recommends meditation.
Meditation, yeah. It's such a powerful practice, but I've always had trouble quieting my mind.
It takes practice for sure.
Right. There are always so many thoughts swirling around.
Oh, I know the feeling. But meditation is all about cultivating stillness, clarity, and connection to your inner self. And when you combine meditation with visualization,
Hmm.
that's when things get really powerful.
So it's about finding that quiet space within ourselves, tapping into our intuition, and really visualizing those dreams as if they're already happening. Okay? I can see how that would be incredibly powerful for aligning ourselves with our desires. What's the last tip?
Staying positive. This one might seem simple. Yeah.
But it's so crucial. Surround yourself with positive people, engage in activities that uplift you, and make a conscious effort to focus on the good.
That makes sense, though. It's like creating this positive feedback loop
Exactly.
where our thoughts, actions, and environment all work together to support us.
Exactly. By nurturing a positive mindset and surrounding ourselves with good vibes, we're creating fertile ground for our manifestations to flourish.
Okay, so I've got our 5 tips: daily affirmations, gratitude practice, vision boards, meditation, and staying positive. That's quite the toolbox.
It is. And the key is to remember that these tools work best when you use them consistently. It's not about being perfect or expecting overnight miracles. It's
Yeah.
about incorporating them into your daily routine, finding what works for you, and trusting the process.
It's the small, consistent efforts that can lead to big changes over time.
Absolutely. Now, before we move on to some real life examples, are there any other insights you have about these tips?
Good question.
It's important to remember that everyone's journey is unique. What works for one person might not work for another. So be patient, experiment,
Okay.
and find what resonates with you.
That's great advice. Okay, so before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, the video mentions some real-life examples of manifestation in action. I'm curious to hear about those.
Me too. I'm always fascinated by stories of people who have used manifestation to achieve their goals.
Yeah, so let's dive into those next.
Let's hear those stories.
All right, so the first example they gave was about someone manifesting their dream job.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, they talked about how this person visualized themselves in the role, like really felt those emotions of success, and then they took steps to actually make it happen.
It's interesting, right? Because it highlights how important it is to actually take action, not just, sit around and dream.
Exactly. It wasn't just wishful thinking. They actually put in the work.
They updated their resume, networked with people in the industry. They even took some extra courses to boost their skills.
So they were really proactive.
They were. And I think that's a key takeaway. Their visualization might have helped them stay motivated, but ultimately it was their actions that made the difference.
Right. It's that combination of mindset and action.
That synergy, yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay, what about the second example? The one about attracting a loving relationship.
Okay, yeah. In this story, the person focused on self-love and practicing gratitude for the relationships they already had,
Hmm.
and then they visualized their ideal partner.
Interesting. So it sounds like they were working on themselves, like becoming the best version of themselves before even trying to attract a partner.
Yeah, and I think that's a really important point. It's about creating that internal state of readiness for a relationship.
Right. Because you can't expect to attract a healthy relationship if you're not in a good place yourself.
Exactly. By working on themselves, they became more attractive to the right kind of partner, someone who aligned with their energy and values.
So it's not about manipulating someone into loving you.
No, not at all.
It's about attracting someone who's a good fit.
Exactly. And it all starts with self-love and personal growth.
That makes a lot more sense than like love potions and spells.
Right. It's a more holistic approach.
I like that. Okay, what about the third example, the one about world travel?
Oh, yeah, that one's inspiring.
Yeah, because it shows how powerful it can be to take those small, consistent steps towards a big goal.
Right. In the video, they talked about how this person always dreamed of traveling the world, but they felt overwhelmed by the logistics and the cost.
It can feel daunting for sure.
Absolutely. But instead of getting discouraged, they started small, created a vision board, researched different destinations, set a budget.
Okay, so breaking it down into manageable steps,
Exactly. And then they started saving money and slowly checking those destinations off their list.
one trip at a time.
One trip at a time, no waiting for the perfect opportunity or a sudden windfall of cash. They just took consistent action.
I love that. It really challenges the idea that manifestation is about instant gratification.
Right. Sometimes those big dreams require a series of smaller manifestations along the way.
It's a journey, not a destination.
Well said.
So these examples, they really highlight the nuances of manifestation in practice. It's not about sitting back and waiting for things to magically appear. It's about aligning our thoughts, actions, and beliefs with our goals.
It's about that conscious co-creation.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. But I do have to wonder, while these stories are definitely inspiring, we have to remember that correlation doesn't equal causation, right?
That's a really important point. We can't automatically assume that their success was solely due to manifestation.
There could be other factors at play.
Absolutely. Hard work, supportive networks, even just plain luck.
Right, those things definitely play a role too.
But even so, these examples do offer some pretty compelling evidence that our thoughts and beliefs can have a real impact on our experiences.
So it seems like manifestation is less about controlling external events and more about cultivating an internal state that attracts the right opportunities and resources.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it. It's about creating that alignment, both within ourselves and with the world around us.
Which brings us back to that question of science. Earlier, we talked about the law of attraction and quantum physics,
Right.
but I'm still curious about how the scientific community views all of this. What do scientists actually have to say about manifestation?
Well, as you might expect, the scientific community tends to be pretty skeptical about manifestation.
I could see that.
While there's no denying the power of positive thinking and its effects on well-being,
Okay.
it's a big leap for most scientists to say that specific outcomes are solely due to manifestation.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense. It's hard to measure or quantify the power of belief.
It is, and from a scientific perspective, you need rigorous testing, controlled experiments to prove a direct causal link between thoughts and external events.
I like that. Makes sense.
So, while there might be some interesting connections to things like the placebo effect
Okay.
or even epigenetics, most scientists are still hesitant to fully embrace the idea of manifestation.
But it sounds like there's still room for exploration.
Definitely. Our understanding of consciousness and how it interacts with reality is constantly evolving.
So what was once considered fringe science might become mainstream in the future.
Exactly. Science is a process of ongoing inquiry. There's still so much we don't know.
That's exciting. Okay, so now that we've explored the scientific perspective a bit, I want to circle back to the practical side of things. The video also mentions some common mistakes people make when it comes to manifestation.
Oh, yeah, those pitfalls are important to be aware of.
Right, because understanding those mistakes can really help us navigate this whole manifestation journey more effectively. So let's dive into those, starting with that first one they mentioned, impatience.
Impatience, it's such a common trap, especially in our fast-paced world.
Oh, I know. We want everything yesterday.
We do.
Okay.
But manifestation is a process. It
Right.
takes time. It's like that saying, Rome wasn't built in a day.
So true. We can't expect to lose 10 pounds in a week or become a millionaire overnight.
Exactly. Manifestation is like planting a seed and nurturing it into a plant. It takes patience, persistence, and trust in the timing of things.
It's a journey, not a sprint.
Absolutely. Enjoy the process.
Okay, what about the next mistake?
Lack of belief. This one's a real killer.
Right.
Because if you don't truly believe it's possible, then it probably won't be.
Yeah, our beliefs really do shape our reality.
They do. So this is where self-awareness comes in.
Okay.
You need to identify those limiting beliefs that are holding you back and start to challenge them.
So instead of focusing on all the reasons why it might not work,
Yeah,
we need to shift our focus to all the reasons why it could.
exactly. It's about cultivating that mindset of possibility.
Okay, what's the next one?
Negative thinking. Those negative thoughts can be so draining.
They can.
They sap our energy and block the flow of all the good stuff.
Like energy vampires.
Right. They suck the life right out of our dreams.
So how do we fight back against those negative thought patterns?
Mindfulness practices like meditation can be super helpful.
Okay.
It's about noticing those negative thoughts as they come up
Right.
and gently redirecting your focus towards something more positive.
So not suppressing them, but acknowledging them and then choosing a different path.
Exactly. It's about taking control of your internal dialogue.
Okay, I like that. So
Yeah.
impatience, lack of belief, negative thinking. What's that last mistake?
Inaction. This one's closely tied to alignment.
Right, because you can visualize and affirm all day long.
You can.
But if you don't actually take any action, nothing's going to change.
Exactly. It's like daydreaming without ever doing anything to make those dreams a reality.
So it's about putting our plans into motion, bridging that gap between thought and action.
Exactly. Action is the catalyst that brings those desires into form.
It's like having a brilliant business idea, but never taking the steps to start that business.
Exactly. It's all about translating intention into tangible steps.
Okay, so we've covered the common pitfalls: impatience, lack of belief, negative thinking, and inaction. Now let's shift gears and talk about those practical tips that can really boost our manifestation game.
Yes. Let's get into those tools and strategies that can enhance our manifesting power.
All right, so let's get into those tips and techniques for actually making manifestation work for us. The video starts with daily affirmations.
Yeah, affirmations, they can be really powerful when used correctly.
Okay, but I gotta admit, I've tried them before, and I'm not sure I was doing it right. Like, is it really just about repeating positive statements to ourselves?
It's more than just saying the words. You have to feel them, Embody that energy, that feeling of what you're affirming, and really believe in it.
Okay, so it's not enough to just go through the motions.
Right, it's got to be
You
genuine.
gotta really feel it.
Yeah, it's like you're planting these seeds in your subconscious mind. And by repeating those affirmations, you're nurturing those seeds, helping them grow into these powerful beliefs that can actually shape your reality.
So it's about making a conscious effort to choose thoughts that support our goals instead of letting those negative thoughts take over.
Exactly. You're taking control of your thoughts.
Okay, I like that. What's next on the list?
Gratitude practice. This one's all about appreciating what you already have in your life.
Ah, gratitude. I love this one. It's so easy to get caught up in wanting more, wanting better, that we forget to appreciate all the good things we already have.
It's so true. And gratitude is like this magnet for abundance.
Okay, explain that.
When we focus on what we're grateful for, we shift our perspective. Instead of seeing lack, we see abundance.
Mhm.
And that attracts even more good things into our lives.
So it's like by focusing on the positive, we're creating this positive feedback loop
Exactly.
where we attract more and more good things.
Exactly. It's like you're telling the universe, hey, I'm open to receiving more good stuff.
Okay, I get beyond that. What's next?
Vision boards. This one's always a fun one. Oh, vision boards. I love making vision boards.
Yeah.
It's like you get to visually create your dream life, all laid out right in front of you.
They're so powerful. Vision boards are like anchors for our intentions.
Okay.
When you put them somewhere, you see them every day, it keeps your desires at the forefront of your mind.
Right. It's like this constant reminder of what you're working toward.
Exactly. Keeping you focused and motivated.
Love it. Okay, what about some of those more like introspective practices?
The video also mentions meditation.
Meditation. Okay. Powerful, but I've got to be honest, I've always struggled with quieting my mind.
Oh, I hear you. It definitely takes practice.
Yeah, there are always so many thoughts just bouncing around in there.
I know that feeling. But meditation is all about creating that stillness, that clarity, and connecting with your inner wisdom. And when you combine meditation with visualization,
Okay.
it takes it to a whole new level.
So it's about finding that quiet space within, tapping into our intuition, and really visualizing those dreams as if they're already happening. Exactly. You're imprinting those desires onto your subconscious mind.
Powerful stuff. Okay, what's the last tip?
Staying positive. This one might seem obvious, but it's so important. Surround yourself with positive people, do things that make you happy, and make a conscious effort to focus on the good.
It's like creating that positive energy field around yourself.
Exactly. You're creating an environment that supports your growth and well-being.
And that, in turn, supports your manifestation.
Precisely. When you cultivate a positive mindset and surround yourself with positive influences, you're creating fertile ground for your manifestations to flourish.
Okay, so we've got our 5 tips. Daily affirmations, gratitude practice, vision boards, meditation, and staying positive. It's like a manifestation toolbox.
It is. And the key is consistency.
Right.
You got to use these tools regularly. It's not about perfection or expecting overnight miracles. It's about incorporating them into your life, finding what works for you, and trusting the
It's
process.
those small, consistent efforts that add up over time and lead to those big changes.
Ooh, exactly. Now, before we wrap up our deep dive into manifestation, I want to leave our listeners with a thought-provoking question.
Ooh, I love a good question. Hit me.
Okay, so if our thoughts and energy can truly influence the world around us, even in small ways, what kind of responsibility do we have to cultivate positive ones?
Wow, that's a really good question. It makes you think about the impact our thoughts and beliefs have, not just on ourselves, but on everyone around us.
Exactly. It's a call to be more conscious creators of our reality, both individually and collectively.
Powerful stuff. Well, I think that's a great note to end on. We have explored the principles, the science, and the practical tips for making manifestation work for us.
It's been quite the journey.
It has, but ultimately, the journey manifestation is a personal one. It's about exploring the power of your own mind, aligning your thoughts and actions with your desires, and trusting in that process of co-creation.
You have the power to shape your reality. Don't forget that.
And on that empowering note, we'll sign off for today. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into manifestation. Until next time, keep those positive vibes flowing and watch those dreams